tell you a bit about Gennex Technologies. So about Gennex Technologies started a long time, a while back, and we are into sales and distribution of solar products. Solar products such as LED lighting, solar street lights, lithium-ion storage, dry cell batteries, rechargeable fans, solar panels, Gennex inverters, Gennex hybrid inverters, ranging from 3 kVA to 11 kVA. So we have 3 kVA, 5 kVA, 6 kilowatts, 8 kilowatts, 10 kilowatts, 3-phase. Then we have 11 kilowatts, which is a 3-phase inverter. We have that. Also, we are, aside from just sales of products, we are also into installations of residential and commercial and industrial solar installations. So we are into that for as offices, homes, offices, industries, factories. We are into that also. And also, Gennex runs Solar Academy, which interestingly is holding its 14th batch at the moment. The 14th batch will be ending in the coming month, November. Just in about 3 to 4 weeks, we'll be running up with the current batch. And we are looking to have our 15th batch next year, tentatively February 2025. We'll have our 15th batch of Gennex Academy. And what do we do in Gennex Academy? We take into account newbies, people who are interested in being entrepreneurs or who are interested in being solar installers, so that they know the nitty-gritty, the basics of solar installation, how to properly size a system as needed, and so that you don't undersize, you don't oversize. These and many more. Also, a training on how to properly segment your customers, how to properly do a market analysis so that you know what niche of the solar industry you want to come up to. Those are part of the things we also do at Gennex Academy, amongst others. So, just before we start question and answer, so we have our rules. First of all, if you have questions, kindly raise your hand. You can use the raise hand button on the raise hand icon on Zoom, so that we'll just take your questions. However, if you are in a noisy environment, we will not encourage that you unmute yourself and talk. We would like you to please type out your questions in the comment section. I promise we will take as many questions as we can in the 45 to 50 minutes of this session that will be taken. Take as many questions as we can. So please, let's keep the questions coming. You can use the chat box to ask our questions. You can use the chat box to ask our questions. You can also use the raise hand button. And please, so that everyone on the call, maybe virtually everybody on the call, will be able to ask their questions. About a 3 on the call, and would want to have that. Okay. All right. So, thank you very much. I see we already have one question in the chat box. So let's keep it coming. I know someone has raised their hand. So we'll first start with Mr. Benedict, who has a question. However, just before we start answering questions, I want Engineer Kunle to let him speak so that we hear your voice, know you're here, before we start diving into questions. Engineer Kunle, please.
Good morning, everybody. We are all welcome. I know it's going to be contract. Thank you.
Okay, I want to believe we all heard him. If you can hear him, just so I'm sure it's not a network problem on my part, could someone please just type in the comment section, in the chat box, if you can hear him? If we heard him, I know we can see him, but I want to be sure we can hear him actually. Is there anybody who's able to help with that in the chat? But just let me know if you can hear him. Okay, you can hear me. Thank you very much. Thank you for that. However, I think Engineer Kunle is muted. So we can see, but we can't hear him here. Could you help check if we can do that so that we can Engineer Kunle or Lauren Foyer so they can hear him just before we know we are good.
Good morning, everybody.
Oh, great.
You are all welcome on board. I know it's going to be very interesting. So thank you.
All right, then. Thank you very much. Okay, so the first question we have from Mr. Benedict, first question is, how many days of autonomy is ideal for an off-grid system? How many days of autonomy is ideal for an off-grid system? Can I put over to you, sir? Don't mute yourself. You can't unmute.
Okay, for an off-grid system, um, depending on some factors, so you can do 1 day, you can do 2 days. No, it all depends on financial capability, the size of load that the person wants to power. Because if the load is light and then that cannot even consume the battery within 1 day, then I think 1 day is enough. But to be much safe, you can do 2 days. Within 2 days, there's no way how everything will just go up because sun will come out, daylight will still come on, and the system will receive some energy. When you are dealing with a high number of days of autonomy, you consider that the load is not much. If the load is much, the storage will have to be big. So that's the thing. There's any other question? I think that's clear enough.
All right, thank you very much, Tunde. So I hope the Benedict is fine with the answer. If you have any other question, please can also type. So we have Fashomi Kayode on the call who has indicated to ask the question. Just before he's unmuted, just for him to ask the question, we have a question from Mr. Charles. The question says, which battery is preferable in terms of COD, depth of discharge, and number of charging cycles? Which battery
is preferable in terms of depth of discharge and number of charging cycle?
Well, I know we know that we have different types of batteries, but lithium-ion battery now is well known and is coming on board for virtually every electronics, everything. You can speak, whether robots or anything. So lithium-ion batteries
In
are
terms
very
of
useful
depth of
for
discharge
those.
and
So
number of
because
charging
we
cycles.
have um, a longer lifespan and many cycles, I think they are preferable compared to wet cell or AGM or all those lead acid batteries. But it depends on individuals' pockets. But if you are talking of what is preferable, what I would have loved to use, I'll prefer lithium ion batteries. You can always set your depth of discharge, and then if the inverter is communicating, is a programmable setup. The battery has all the functions, so it's not going to get over discharged if it's communicating with the proper inverter. So it's only when it's not communicating, then you now need to set it manual using user defined. And you have to set it such that the battery does not get over discharged and shut down. So that's just the thing. But in terms of DOD, long life span, lithium ion batteries is still the common type of batteries that is available.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. So the next question, I don't know if Mr. Fasami is unmuted now. If he wants to take his question, because we're supposed to take his own next. Okay, Mr. Fasami, you are unmuted. Please ask your question.
Uh, Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
My first question is, it might not really pertaining to what we are listening, but I just want to ship this one in concerning the last lecture that we have on Saturday. I discovered that we don't have the record of the. Actually, I mean, inside this thing, but for us to remember something that he taught us, the record is very important, whether he record it or maybe he forgot, I don't know. That is number one. That is number one. The second
Okay, Mr.
question.
Fasami, quickly address that. To everyone, Mr. Fasami is part of our academy students, current batch. That's why he's asking that question. They have a class, so this session is for everyone, not only for academy students. So
Okay, okay, okay,
that is
okay.
being worked on. So over to your next question, sir.
Okay, my next question is this. It's still part of the academic stuff. Whether you may mention that by next year now they are going for the 15th edition of the academic this thing. But what if there is a new upgrade, as in maybe new development, apart of what we have learned before? How are we going to get it? Maybe how are we going to get it across to previous, uh, the previous class or the previous
Oh,
this thing. I think you understand my question anyway.
yes, I do. So thank you so much for the question. This is um, the underlying reason why we have our Gennex webinars, so that everybody joins. It is always recorded and what it is uploaded to our YouTube channel, and where everybody can see it and go over it again. So for any new upgrade that is noticed, that's the major reason why this webinar came into being, was because of that. So that from our past, they also have access to it. So it's just our YouTube channel. You can always go back to it and check. So I hope I'm able to answer that for you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very
Very
much.
good.
All right. So the next question we have, Mr. Charles, you might have to ask your question again, because your question sounds a bit ambiguous. You said, "What is the cost benefit comparing with other batteries?" Please, may I have to elaborate on your question? Please update so that we can take the question. Thank you. The next question is from Benedict, who says, "Someone says the shallower the depth of discharge, the longer the lifespan. Is this true?" Someone says the shallower the depth of discharge, the longer the lifespan. Is this true?
Well, I won't say that is true because if you discharge battery too low, in fact, the battery lifespan will reduce. We have practical experience of that because you can't compare. It's just like, let's liken it to a tank because this is storage we are talking about here now, which is like a tank, a reservoir. You always have reserved water when you just take a little, maybe somebody just had a bath or you just use a little, maybe just one pail out of 3 drums. You know, the strength or the energy that is required to now fill that back is small. So it's like you have not used it. The battery will remain like, oh, I'm still close to new, compared to when you drain the tank and then you now need to fill it. The energy that is required to fill up the tank when it's completely drained is much. That's something. So it's the same thing that's applicable to battery. The lifespan will be reduced because if you look at specifications of AGM battery, all those lead acid batteries, you'll be given a range of operation. For some of them, it could be you are expected to shut down. The battery is expected to be empty at 10.5 volts for lead acid battery, and then is full at 14.4. So, and then you'll be told that if you drain it below that point, the capacity of the battery will reduce. If you go through the chart, that is clearly stated there. So, which means I think that answers this question. If you discharge it too low, the lifespan will be reduced. The capacity of the battery will be the first to get reduced. So that's it.
All right, sir. Thank you very much for that. So the next question also from Benedict says, what are ways to extend battery life? Is it true air conditioner is necessary for any area where batteries are stored? So let me take the two again. What are ways to extend battery life? Is it true air conditioner is necessary for an area where batteries are installed?
Okay, it's always a good practice to use air conditioner if one has the capacity. It's always a good thing so that the battery will be cool, the inverter will also be cool. But you know, inverter will generate more heat because of the loads or the charging capacity, charging current going through it. And then if the heat is radiating within the room, the power room, the battery can pick it up. Ambient temperature increasing, the battery also will rise in temperature. We know that batteries don't like increase in temperature. They work at cool environment better. So temperature is one key factor that one needs to monitor or look into. You don't joke with it. If battery continues to rise in temperature, it's going to get damaged. That's why you see some lead acid batteries, they get swollen up because they keep rising in temperature, probably due to overcharging current or overcharging voltage or anything. But you can't compare it to a room where there is air conditioner. The battery will not rise in temperature. It could stay like that, cool, and then the lifespan if you use it well, because it's just a way to maintain the battery. Usage is another pattern. Environmental condition around the battery, which is like temperature, is one thing. So if the environment is cool and you are over draining the battery will still get damaged. So saying what can we use AC to air conditioner, that is condition the air around the battery to increase the lifespan? Yes, it's part of it. It will make the lifespan to be longer if all other conditions are met.
All right, sir. The next one we have is from Awu Musa. He says that what are the most reliable brands for inverters, batteries, charge controllers, and cables? What are the most reliable brands for inverters, batteries, charge controllers, and cables? Back to you, sir.
Well, we have various models, various manufacturers have different types of inverter. In fact, the most reliable, I don't know if I can choose one now as the most reliable because there is a lot of competition. But it's just like when you're talking about vehicles, some are, they can give you long time warranty. And that is where we tag um, reliability in most cases. Somebody wants to buy something, they say, okay, how many years warranty? If you see the one that is 10 years warranty compared to one that is 1 year warranty, you say, oh, let me go for the one that is 10-year warranty. But the cost of the one that is 10 years warranty will be higher because they have put a lot of factors in it. So we have different brands. We have Fronius, we have Outback, we have different brands out there now that they are all reliable. So it depends on what are you looking for. Talking about batteries, now I just mentioned before now that lithium ion batteries has become a general reliable batteries out there because of the lifespan, the weight, the many things about it, the communication, and so it's becoming very reliable. Now, of course, that's what we use in our phone. You can imagine somebody using a phone for about 7 years with just the same battery. If it's not reliable, it's not going to be like that. So if you use it well with inverter system or solar system, it's going to work. And it's cheap as well at the end of the day. So I think I need to add that first because if you look at the cost of maintenance, cost of replacement with the way inflation is, you will discover that lithium-ion battery is cheap and is reliable. So I can't really pinpoint because lithium-ion batteries too, we have different brands, different models, and they are all working vigorously to make sure that the products are very reliable. So that's the thing. We are into SVC, lithium-ion batteries, and so far, at least for some of us that have used it, we know that it is a reliable brand. There are other products out there. I think what's this Felicity? There is Blue Carbon. I cannot really say talk about others because I only know the one that we have used, that we have controls over. We don't want somebody to carry battery away and say you are coming back because that's not the only thing we want to be doing. Once you take it away, it should work according to the specifications and the conditions given. So we believe in what we work with because we work with the manufacturer. Then in terms of cable, there are different brands, the different qualities out there. So you can check online. Just be sure you are getting your material from a reliable source. Since you are not the one manufacturing it, and then you may not be able to get at times from the manufacturer, get it from a reliable source. Then you are guaranteed. Thank you.
All right, sir. Thank you very much for that. Next question we have from Uche Chuku. He's asking about the Gennex Academy. Is there going to be another Gennex Academy session before the end of this year? So no, the Gennex Academy runs for 12 Saturdays, a 12-day program, and it runs on 12 Saturdays. We also have a virtual session part of after the 12 sessions for the batch itself. So the current batch is ending this next month, November, but the next one will be tentatively February 2025. So that's when we'll have the next session. Thank you very much. The next question, okay. Mr. Charles has asked his question again. Mr. Charles' question at first was, what is the cost benefit comparing with other batteries? So it now went further to say, cost benefit, for instance, I need a 200 ampere capacity, comparing lithium initial cost with other batteries, longevity, DOD, and other factors on the long run. Will it be preferable I go for lithium if I have the funds for the lithium battery? So I believe this question is talking about comparing with dry cell or tubular batteries as against lithium-ion batteries. If we are looking at longevity, we are looking at the DOD that would have for each of those batteries, and other factors, maintenance after the installation. Which one is more cost effective to go for and more cost benefits to go for?
Okay, we all know that lithium-ion batteries are expensive, but at the long run, it's cheaper, very cheap. It's cheaper. In fact, we have done analysis. If you look at the life cycle of if you look at the life cycle of AGM batteries, all those lead acid, they are just to operate within 2-3 years. And why lithium ion batteries will work for 10-15 years? You can look at that. And you are not going to be, what's the maintenance that you need to carry out on lithium ion batteries? Little or no maintenance. It will just continue to work. Just make sure you charge, it's full, and you discharge, it's not empty, and you continue to use it. It will work like so. If you look at the everything, okay, the stress of replacement of lead acid batteries, for instance, is 3 years, and you are looking at okay running the system for about 10 years. You will have replaced your battery like two to three times if you are using lead acid batteries, while you are still using the lithium ion, or you replace that one only once. And if you replace the lithium ion battery once, that means you have increased the number of years duration, because if it's supposed to work for 10 years and you replace it once, that means you to be running for about just once will make it run for about 20 years. And then the other one, you will have replaced it several times, 3 times within that 10 years. So you can see that, and then the cost of both batteries keep going high. At the end of the day, if you look at the cost that will go for the lithium ion, is cheaper. We've done this analysis and we came to conclusion that it's cheaper if you have the money to put lithium ion batteries in place and you have a proper inverter to manage it well, because so that you don't get it damaged and then you now believe that this is against what they told me or something. No, lithium ion batteries are very good.
All right, sir. Thank you very much for that. So we have someone who is raising up his hand to ask a question. Kindly unmute. We have Dan Puta raising up his hand to ask his question. And just before he's unmuted, let's keep the questions coming. I see we have other questions in the chat box. So let's keep the question coming. We'll take as many as we can. Okay, Dan Puta, please, you are unmuted now. Please ask your question.
Good morning, House. Can you hear me? Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Good morning. Hello?
Hello, please hold on, Dan Puta.
Go ahead.
All right, sir, please go ahead.
Okay, good morning, House. My question is, I have a 2 king I'm configuring for 10 kVA. I just noticed that each time it drains, because they use AC on it at times at night, when it drains in the morning, when the solar power is restored, I expect that it's supposed to pick up. It's supposed to pick up immediately the solar is restored, but it doesn't until I have to send somebody to go and physically turn on the off and on a switch.
Sir,
So is
sorry, we
there
had
any
a bit
setting?
of network glitch. If you can hear, could you please start your question again? We had a bit of network glitch over here. Please start again.
Okay.
Thank you.
My question is, I have a king I installed somewhere. So I discovered that each time it run down, maybe when there's no proper installation during the day, or maybe they're using AC at night, and at times at 3 a.m., 4 a.m., it goes down. I expect that, okay, in the morning when the sun comes back up, it should peak automatically and come back on, but it doesn't until someone will go there and physically turn it on. Is it a certain issue, or that is the how it's supposed to work? That is my question.
Okay.
Did you get
That's
me?
I heard you clearly. You said when it
Okay.
shuts down, it doesn't come up by itself when the
Yes.
power is restored, maybe from solar panels or so. Yeah, that could
Yes.
be a settings, a certain issue. That's one. And then two, it depends on the level. When the battery is discharged, if the voltage does not go below a certain level, when battery is discharged and then it's not long, discharged batteries will keep discharging. That's what I'm trying to say. It depends on how long and what's the capacity of the battery, what's the status of the battery itself. Are they healthy? Because batteries that are not
Yes.
so healthy, once they get discharged and they cut off at low battery cutoff, they continue discharging gradually and they will now go out of the range where the inverter can pick up again. That's one. So the other thing is just the settings. Say, okay, what is the settings could be part of it could be DOD choose the value you choose, the depth of discharge. So
I use 42 volts.
42 rated by 4.
Yes. Okay.
That's
No, 43. 43. I moved to 43. It's 43. I think it's a setting. If you can guide me or maybe where to check on the setting for that, I
okay.
will appreciate it.
Okay, we'll just go
But the
through the
batteries are
settings.
okay.
You just check. We'll know which mode. Okay, you said king, so we'll get the settings from 0 to the end. Then we'll look at it. Which one can we help you change to make it function the way you want?
Okay, sir.
All right.
All right, sir, Mr.
Thank
Damputa,
you, sir.
just so that we have solved the issue, kindly would drop the customer experience phone number in the chat box. Please reach out to that number so that we can take it up there. From there, you can get across to Engineer Phillips to help resolve that issue. So, next question we have is from Benedict again. For batteries connected in parallel, is the battery charge used individually or the charge usage is a collective contribution from all the batteries? So let me take that again. For batteries connected in parallel, is the battery charge used individually or the charge usage is a collective contribution from the batteries? So I would say, I think the question is actually, so maybe it's supposed to talk about discharge. So I think the question should, what you might be asking is the battery discharge charge used as battery is using, is it used individually per battery when it is in use, or is a collective contribution from each of the batteries?
Okay. One thing that is sure about storage usage is when you put batteries together, they all work to contribute to whatever the load is. So whether a series or in parallel. In series now, the current is reduced because it's the same current that is expected to flow through each battery, whether they are 4 or 2 or 5 or whatsoever. So it's the same current. That way, your size of cable will be small, but the current will be small. But the overall power is high depending on the demand of the battery. For instance, if it's 20 amps for each batteries and they are connected in series, That means it's 20 amps that is expected to flow through each battery. And when they are working, when they are powering load, they all give out that same current. Each battery must contribute its own 20 amps or whatever the current that is demanded. If not, for instance, if the load is required 20 amps from the battery and one of the batteries in series is unable to deliver that 20 amps, the whole system will not work. And whatever low current that one is capable of giving is what the others will follow. If one battery maximum capacity or the current it can deliver is just 5 amps, when others are ready to deliver 20 amps, others will be conditioned to deliver 5 amps because they are connected in series. I want us to pick that clearly because they are connected in series. But if it is parallel, one is capable of delivering 5 amps, while others are still strong, they can deliver 20 amps. The 5 amps will deliver his own 5 amps, others will deliver their 20 amps. That's the way it works. So the accumulation of the current from each battery in parallel is the output overall power or current. So I think that's clear enough.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. Next question we have from Charles. Why is Gennex not using tall tubular batteries in their installation? Is there any issue with tall tubular batteries? Why is Gennex not using tall tubular batteries in their installation?
TOA, is it the brand name? Tubular batteries generally have their own requirements. They have the way they operate. They have their specification. We are just talking about newest common battery as lithium-ion batteries. We know that we have AGM. We also say they say dry cell batteries, which are lead acid batteries. We have them as well. But we want rest of mind because the maintenance of tubular batteries is high. You can compare it to AGM, not to now talk of comparing it to lithium-ion batteries. You need to check, like monitoring the battery. It's not like a child that is kept on. You monitor the temperature. You do have you eaten this, and that's the way you need to manage wet cell. Because if not, the water will be going down. You won't know. And once the electrolyte has gone down, and you don't know, the battery performance will derail. It will degrade, and eventually, if you've been getting 5 hours or 10 hours before, it will come back to 30 minutes within a short space of time. So that's why people who feel that it's cheap because cost in terms of cost is cheap, but in terms of the wahala, the maintenance azus is high. So and then we don't want to be doing that. That's why we don't use it. But if a customer says, "Oh, this is I don't mind, this is what I want to use," we give it after explaining to this is the advantage, this is the advantage. Some people will still tell you that don't worry, this is what I want. We give it to them, of course. So that's it. Thank you.
All right, sir. The next question talks about can we series lithium-ion batteries up to 7? Can we series lithium-ion batteries up to 7?
Okay, for connecting lithium-ion batteries in series, there must be approval from the manufacturer through the specification. If it's not written that you series it, please don't do, because a pack of lithium-ion batteries is we have cells that are connected in series parallel, and they monitor each of them. They connect. That's why we have BMS in the battery to make sure that the cell is charging properly and discharges like as equal as any other one. So if you now want to connect another package, a complete battery in series, I think one needs to go through the recommendation of the manufacturer that you can do that. Oh, you can connect one in series with another one, or you can connect two in series. If not, it is not advisable. I'm not saying there are not lithium-ion batteries connected in series to achieve high voltage, but they have made provision for BMS to monitor the performance of each battery. Like I said, we have big cells that are connected in series to give high voltage, but they are professionally monitored. Thank you.
All right, sir. Thank you. So we have two people raising up their hands to ask questions. We'll take Ademola first before we take Rashid's question. So before they are unmuted, just unmute Ademola first before we have Rashid's question asked. So one question just for that is done. What are the considerations for connecting inverters in parallel? Must they be from the same manufacturer and have the same output voltage?
That is inverter now.
Yes.
They must be from the same manufacturer, because I will not. It's not advisable to connect different manufacturer products together unless if you have specification in one of the manual where the manufacturer of one is saying you can connect this other brand or model in series with it. If not clearly stated by the manufacturers, please don't go near it, because they can use different softwares, different programs runs in them, and then you bring them together. There will be conflict of information or communication, and it could damage any one of them or both of them.
All right. I think we have Ademola on mute. Are you unmuted now? So you can ask your question. Okay, just before you ask this question, someone asked when is the next training? Next training is starting next year, 2025. Tentatively February 2025 to be starting. We'll drop a number on the chat box for everyone who is interested in our Gennex Academy to chat with. So I have Ademola, please ask your question.
Yeah, good morning. I'm Ademola. My question goes like this, sir. Um, I'm only to ask a question between all these tubular battery and lithium ion battery. First, there's this battery, 17.7 kilowatt hour. That's for lithium battery. Then in calculation to amps, it's like from my calculation, whenever I have to convert it down to amps, I'm going to get 364 amps. Now, sir, there's another question. Getting tubular battery of 12, then we have it in 4-4. That's in 3 places. That's going to give us 660 in terms of amps, sir. And in comparison to the buying price, like the 17.5 kilowatt hour, the last company, or let me just say the last person I have been working with got that battery at the rate of 3.2 million. And now in sorry sir, I just want to pitch out something.
Okay, continue. It's smooth.
Okay, yeah, muted somehow. I don't know what must have caused that. Just before we get him back, I'll just take a question from the chat box. So we have a question about, is there a lithium ion battery that can supply 360 volts DC?
Okay, I don't know of a single lithium-ion batteries, but I know of a pack, like a module. Like I mentioned when I was talking about management of batteries, when somebody said as of connecting them in series. The manufacturers have batteries that they like in module, in pack, that they've cascaded to give that high voltage for a special user. You know, we have all these high capacity inverters, like 100 kilowatts. They don't use 48 volts lithium ion batteries. They have batteries that are connected together in series and clearly professionally monitored and managed. So the overall voltage could be as high as 500 volts, while the current will be small. So not even just 300, about 500 volts or more. So there are batteries like that, but not just single battery, a small, high voltage is dangerous. You can't just give it in batteries that you can easily connect and it will have that high voltage. It has to be protected. You see fire extinguisher, you see air conditioner, you see many things. It's a pack, it's a module. So that's the way it is.
All right, sir. Thank you. So we have a question from Kyle. It talks about calculation of cable size. So I understand that it's from the current academic batch, and that will be worked on. So let's take it back to our class. We'll solve that in the class, Mr. Kyle. So another question is, what type of BMS does the SVC lithium use? So to answer that question, he uses PACE. That you mentioned, is it JK or PACE? It uses PACE. PACE. That's what the SBC uses. So another question, I don't know if we have him on. Okay, he's not unmuted. I don't know if Mr. Rashid can be unmuted so that I ask his question. We're just getting to the end of this webinar, and I must say that has been very much enlightening. Thank you so much for your engagement and contributions alike too. So one question we have from Idris is, what are the considerations for connecting inverters in parallel? Must they be from the same? Okay, we've answered that. Sorry about that. We've answered that question. We have a question from Uchechuku about advantage of using bus bar to connect more than one battery in parallel, when you can simply connect and communicate the batteries, making one a master and others a slave. What's the advantage of using bus bar in battery connection?
The advantage of using bus bar for battery connection is to ensure that they all accept the same current at the same time. They share the current equally during charging and during usage. If not, one battery may be degrading faster than the other one and you won't know. So the same thing is even applicable to parallel system, connecting inverters in parallel. It is clearly stated in the manual that the cable from some cables have to be like equal. Like battery cable now from inverter 1 to the bus bar should be equal in length and size to the battery cable from inverter 2 to the bus bar if the two inverters are working in parallel. If the inverters are more than that, you still do it. You do the same thing on other inverters. So the same way you will do for the batteries. Don't use, for instance, maybe 35 mm cable. You use 1 meter from one battery to bus bar, and then you now use 20 meters from the other battery to the same bus bar. By the time it's charging or they are in use, they won't deliver the same current. And the bus bar makes you to bring together all the batteries so that you now have accumulated current or power at that point, so that your inverters can pick from there, not just one inverter draining one battery and then one battery is not in use optimally.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. don't know if we can get Mr. Rashid. He has not unmuted for us to hear him. So, Mr. Rashid, just in case you can hear me, I don't know if you are still there. Kindly type out your question. I don't know why you are not unmuted. So, if you can type out your question just before we round up the session, please type it out so we can take it before we close. So, for all who have been asking questions about training, we have dropped the phone number to chat
Okay.
up on WhatsApp so that you get to know more about
Good
our
morning.
it's on the WhatsApp, it's on the chat box. Okay, Mr. Rashid, please go ahead very briefly.
Yeah, good morning. Yeah, good
Yeah,
morning.
we can hear you now.
Yeah, Mr. Gullet, good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning.
Yes, sir. Please, my question is that I want to ask if I want you to put more shade to this the advantage of tabular batteries and then the what's it called, the lithium battery, because I heard you are saying the tabular battery has more disadvantage than the other battery, because I know this is what we have been using before the lithium battery came up. And at the same time, I want to ask if is very advisable for someone to use if you have hybrid inverter that has is charging controller, and then is it advisable that we should use another charging controller for it, or we should do our calculation based on the we should just do a calculation on the hybrid. If you don't want to use the hybrid, that we can use the hybrid that will carry the whole load totally by himself to do through our calculation. Are you getting what I'm saying, sir?
I
So
understand.
it won't need any additional charging controller. Is it advisable, or we should just make sure that we use another charging controller if the load is more than what the inverter can load?
Okay, I got you right. The first question is about the battery, while the second one is about the um, charge
Charging controller.
controller.
Okay.
Now, on the battery, like I mentioned, the the battery maintenance is not easy. You need to always monitor the way the cell is getting drained because of the usage. The manufacturer will tell you that you should do that maybe in the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks, like that. Some will say if you are waiting for about 6 weeks and the battery is used always, then the cells have become dried. And then you now need to go there to go and buy the water, put it, and then charge it. So you'll be doing that like many times within the year. So some people don't want that. You'll be carrying acid. If care is not taken, you see the acid. A time will come, the battery will demand for acid, not just the distilled water. You understand? So then you have to put it. So that's the data is just much. You can't keep it inside the house where people are living. Although the other battery too, there's a limit to where you can keep them. But then you can still put the AGM batteries in the building. But for this acid, this thing, you know, everywhere will be messed up. The terminals, the rate of corrosion is much, and most of them people don't know. They don't have the capacity that people think they have. Some of them are 20. In fact, most of them are 20 hours rate. You can check through all these batteries. Most of them are 20 hours rate, and that means you, instead of you taking 20 amps from it, you are expected to be taking 10 amps. Where you need 20 amps, that means you need 2 strings. And people just use one string and expect that, oh, one string, I need to get 20 amps. So the batteries may get bad within a short space of time. It is just because of the maintenance. It's not that the battery is bad. That's what I've been using. But if you cannot cope with the going up and down, carrying battery water at the my battery, you'll be feeling that, oh, the battery will soon stop, the performance is going down. I need to call them. If you look at the money that is going to be involved, the services of the engineer, the cost of water, this, you may not want to go near it. But if somebody does not mind, you can do it. Maybe in the farm, and you know that you always go there, you can always manage it, you can do that. So, but at the end of the day, you can't still compare the performance or the advantages with lithium-ion batteries. No, they are far apart. So that's that on the battery. Then on the charge controller, it is not always advisable to use external charge controller when you know that
All right, everyone. So, sorry, we have like
okay, as I was talking about the usage of external charge controller with an hybrid system, it is not always advisable to use external charge controller with a system that is properly sized and the inverter is capable of managing the batteries, because it could lead to overcharging. The external charge controller does not have any link with the inverter to communicate so that they both deliver the required charging current to the battery. For instance, utility is available, solar is also available, and then the two of them will just go into the battery and add up. But if you have a very large battery bank than what the inverter alone can manage, then you can look at the external charge controller to do that. Most especially where with lithium-ion batteries now, because of the range. You know, the range of operation of lithium-ion is high. You know, a 10 kilowatt-hour battery can accept up to 200 amps, some up to 200 amps. So, and you don't need to really push that much into the battery. So you can afford to use external charge controller, which is more economical compared to the size of a new inverter to charge the battery. So that way, even if utility is available and solar is available, the two of them combined is still not up to the maximum recommended charging current. So, but if not, if it's a small size, it is advisable to use the inverter as it is, or increase the number of inverters so that you'll be able to manage the batteries properly. At times, when you are doing design, because of battery management, you may need to increase the number of your battery, of your inverter. Doesn't really necessary that it's because of the load. You may have an inverter that the whole load that they want to power with the inverter is just about 4,000 watts, which a 5 kilowatt inverter can do. But because of the storage you have, that 5 kilowatt inverter cannot charge, cannot really manage, you may need to cascade 2 units of 5 kilowatt inverter, making 10 kilowatt, so that you have enough charging capacity and is well programmed, and it could manage, it will be able to manage the battery, the storage properly. I think that answers the question. Thank you.
All right, everyone. Thank you very much for your time on the session. Thank you very much, Engineer Kunle. And I believe that we all had our questions answered. We had some enlightenment clarifications done. Thank you very, very much for joining. The session was recorded, and we'll be sharing the YouTube link to everyone who has joined in, so that we can also go over it again. I see if you still have further questions for us, sadly, we would have to end this session at this time. If you have other questions you would like us to address, you can reach out to the phone number on the screen at the moment, 0201-293-4490. We also have an e-commerce platform, shop.gennextechnologies.com, where you can get all products that we sell at Gennex Technologies. And also, if you want to know more about product solutions we also offer, you can check our website at www.gennextechnologies.com, and we'll have everything answered. So if you still have further questions, as I mentioned earlier, you can reach out to the number on the screen, 0201-293-4490, or you can also send a WhatsApp message to the number that is on that I posted for training. You can also do that, and we'll be ready and very much open to hear your questions. Thank you everyone for your time. We really appreciate you. Do have a lovely day ahead. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you very much. Bye.